Now we're going to move on to our volunteer employment opportunities. The first one is called Integrated Work Training. Integrated Work Training is free and will take place throughout the student's program. The purpose of the IWT is to complete the sections of the checklist that it doesn't make sense to do in a classroom. Those were the letters O, T, J that we saw on the previous chart. There are a number of benefits to incorporating volunteer experiences throughout the programs. Students can experiment with a variety of employment environments. For example, students heading to retail sales can try a large box store and a little boutique to see what they would prefer. This helps target their job search later on in the program. Students can test out different job titles within their NOT codes as well. For example, the Goal 1453, Customer Service, is comprised of dozens and dozens of job titles, like Attendant Tourist Booth, Courtesy Desk Clerk, and Service Advisor, just to name a few. It is important to note that we have access to a software package that can help narrow down job titles based on education levels, physical restrictions, location, interests, values, aptitudes, among others. Another benefit is that any potential barriers are identified early in the program. This way, if there is something that might negatively impact the chances of being employed in the chosen goal, there's lots of time to figure out potential solutions and options. Students gain confidence and independence knowing there's support if they need it. If they are at an employer's and feel overwhelmed by some of the tasks they're expected to complete, they are still attending Career Essentials, so they can receive additional training and support as needed. These IWT experiences can take many forms. For example, students might do 1 week of every month, or they might do every other Friday, or every afternoon. The options are unlimited. The other category we have is called Independent Work Practice. Independent work practice takes place at the end of the program when the checklist has already been fully completed. The purpose of the IWP is to practice the learned skills before searching for employment. Students increase their confidence while gaining experience as well as references for their resumes. Students are also able to add additional information to their essential portfolios. Many of the IWPs are quite easily transitioned to employment. As discussed, every student enrolled in Workplace Essentials and College Essentials leaves with an essential portfolio. I'm now going to go into a bit more detail. What is a portfolio? It is a job hunting tool that gives employers a complete picture of who you are. It used to be mainly for artists and journalists and teachers, but has recently caught on with all types of job seekers. It can outline experience, education, accomplishments, and skill sets much more than just a cover letter and a resume. What goes in a portfolio? Here's a list of what typically will go in a portfolio. It will be different for every person depending on their experiences and the vocational goal that they're heading towards. We understand how important it is to be able to objectively measure students' progress. Consequently, Career Essentials uses a wide variety of both standardized and curriculum-driven assessment tools to ensure that our students are achieving their milestones, as well as to assist us in making any modifications to the programs based on these test results. The following are the ways we measure students' progress in the essential skills. The CAMRA, Communications and Math Employment Readiness Assessment. The CAMRA is a brand new standardized test that measures gains in essential skills. It works with curriculum as well to help focus the training activities. I will discuss the CAMRA in more detail on the next slide. We also use Essential Skills Online Indicator Tests, the TOWS, the checklists, because as students progress, we can monitor how they are doing based on the demonstration of the required skills as noted on their checklists. Over the years, we have also developed our own curriculum-driven assessment tools. Here are the academic tests we use. We decide on which test based on each student's needs. The CAST, Canadian Adult Survey Tests, CAT, Canadian Adult Achievement Tests, TABE, Tests of Adult Basic Education, the ESL Adult Literacy Scale, the CLB assessment tools, and again, also our own curriculum-driven assessment tools. What is the camera? You have likely heard a lot about the camera recently, as it is a new test in the industry. It is actually more than just a test. It is described as a system because it works alongside some specific curriculum materials. Now, any agency can use the curriculum materials, but without the test they will be unable to maximize the use of the materials, as the test helps direct what to use and when. They will also not have access to a standardized test to objectively measure progress. The camera is a valid, reliable, standardized assessment instrument comprised of a series of pen and paper tests. It is administered by assessors trained in its use. The camera is a series of 7 standardized tests providing placement and diagnostic information about an adult learner's ability to complete workplace-oriented literacy and numeracy tasks. The assessments draw on authentic workplace documents, input from employers, and HRSDC essential skill profiles to give a snapshot of learners' skills. The camera was designed for use in adult literacy and upgrading programs where learners' goals are entry or re-entry to employment. Camera assessments are designed to gauge literacy skills within an employment context at the beginning of the learner's program and later on in an interim and exit basis. Here is some information about the testing procedures for the camera. In order to maintain its validity and to ensure reliable results, it can only be administered by assessors trained in its use. Career Essentials is the only private secondary service provider in Ontario able to offer this highly valuable assessment. All of our program directors are certified assessors and can administer the tests at all our locations at no extra charge for our Workplace Essentials students. Feel free to ask any of them to see their certificates. Tests are sent off-site for scoring and interpretation in order to avoid bias. Results are usually available within 2 weeks. It is for this reason that we don't do the camera as part of our initial assessment, but rather we wait until students are approved. We do not charge any extra for students to be assessed using the camera system.